All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to give it a couple of minutes. We'll let other people come in to the room here just a moment. We will be getting started here momentarily. All right, had to step out, grab my cup of coffee. I shouldn't say cup of coffee, it's a pot of coffee. Pour me a fresh cup of hot coffee here before we get started. Today, we're going to be looking at several things. First of all, we're going to look at some of the latest news stories out. There's a couple of just good reminders, friendly reminders, security reminders in the news stories that we're going to be talking about. There's a Bitcoin price prediction that we're going to cover as well. We're also going to be looking at some of the passive income projects that I'm currently in that I'm pretty passionate about. I love projects that pay me a passive income in real yield crypto assets. Let's be very clear on that. We're talking about real yield assets, not some sort of, I don't know, like there's a lot of projects out there, like for example, Pancake Swap. They pay you out in the Pancake token, but that token is getting paid out, and it's I mean, how do we say this? It's not real. I mean, it is real, but they're inflating their token. And I understand they have some buy and burn features in there and that sort of thing, but we really prefer to find projects that are able to pay you back directly from the fees or the profits that the project is earning. So that way we're getting real funds. Oh, there we go. As you come in, do me a favor, smash that like button, say hello in the chat. I want to get this going. I'm thinking about doing a live stream, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe I'll do it 5 days a week for a little while. I don't know. I'm just trying to test it out. I like doing live streams. I got away from doing them for a while, and I think I want to bring them back. I end up having a lot of commentary with people throughout the day related to crypto, and it's like that tends to be some of my closest friends, and I feel like I would like to have some of that same dialogue, some of that same commentary with my subscribers, who I also, as an extension, see you all in a way, in a weird way, as sort of a friend. And what I mean by that is it's rare that people understand. When I say I have conversations with my friends throughout the day, it's less than 3 people. Only 1 or 2 is even a little bit passionate about this space. And the truth is, 1 or 2 of them are only here for possible gains, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm both passionate about what crypto can become, what it can do for the average person. And because of that, I know that being an early adopter does in fact lead to crypto wealth, which is this channel. Jimmy, if you can't see my tabs at the top, I got liquid loans pulled up already, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm a fan of the Pulse Chain ecosystem. I think most of the world is sleeping on Pulse Chain. So I appreciate the comment. By the way, if you leave a comment, ladies and gentlemen, I will try to respond to comments, but it's going to take me, give me a couple of minutes to respond to comments. And if you have any questions, at the end, if you have questions or comments specifically you want me to reply to before I hop off of here, I'll give it a last couple of minutes for any specific questions or whatever. And I don't mind giving my thoughts, my commentary, my ideas, my critiques, my criticisms. I mean, I can be somewhat opinionated about this space. I'm not a financial expert. Take nothing that I say as financial advice. I'm a very biased cryptocurrency YouTuber. I'm one of these people who think Bitcoin is probably going to see $1 million price point. I've been saying that since probably 2017 publicly. So I am very, very biased. I am not the guy you come to for fair, unbiased, reasonable financial advice. That's not me. Hey, let's go ahead and get started with this. Let's look at the Bitcoin price with where we're at right now. Bitcoin is sitting at $62,000. Fear and greed index. On yesterday's live stream, we talked about this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a take profit sign if there ever was a take profit sign. It is absolutely crazy. But with that being said, yesterday I talked about learn how to be right even if you're wrong. It doesn't mean that we're not going to skyrocket straight to 70,000 or 80,000 or 100,000. No one knows exactly where we're going on this leg up right now. I thought it was interesting. I saw a news story this morning. I didn't even pull it up to cover today, but I saw a story this morning and they were talking about, oh, Bitcoin's pulled back 7%. And it had. I mean, it went from 64, shot to 64 yesterday, pulled back down just below 59,000. And when I saw the news story, it was just a couple of hours old, and I thought, look, digital media is irrelevant. We're already sitting back at $62,000 right now. I mean, who would have thought over the past week we would see Bitcoin go up just under 23% in the past week? Who would have actually thought that? Who could have predicted that? So when you see a lot of people giving technical analysis and all this stuff, everybody's just giving their best guess. Most people's looking in the rearview mirror of price action and then trying to justify why that may have happened, myself included. None of us have a forward-facing crystal ball. But look, at the end of the day, when you see the extreme greed on the fear and greed index, I mean, this means that sooner or later, people are going to start selling. Sooner or later, people are going to start taking profits. You just have to be aware of that. When we're down here, when everybody's scared and they're afraid it's going to go lower, that's when we want to be trying to buy. That's the goal. I said something yesterday, and someone in my Telegram said, I think Lucky Dice in my Telegram said, hey, the thing with crypto is you never know if it's going to go up, you never know if it's going to go down, and you should have a plan, but we all get emotional. And it's true. We all do get emotional. But it's very important that you have some sort of rule-based plan. Either I am collecting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and my favorite altcoin, and I have no intentions of ever selling. I'm here until we see mass adoption. Or you have some combination of, yes, I have part of my portfolio that's long-term mass adoption portfolio that I'm not taking any profits on until we reach some certain significant level many years in the road that you should predefine. However, the other side of your portfolio needs to be balanced out with things you're going to take profit on. Maybe some of your more riskier crypto investments, maybe your passive income plays or whatever. That has to be the other side of your portfolio as well. By the way, do me a favor and smash that like button. We're going to go ahead and get started in this. So let's go here. Oh, not there. We'll come back to that. Let's go here. Let's look at the news first before we get into the cryptocurrency projects. And one of those projects I'm going to show you, by the way, has earned me over $300 yesterday. In fact, I made more than $300. I made probably, if you look at everything, I may have made somewhere between $360 just yesterday alone. I want to touch on these news stories though. Crypto reform takes a backseat in South Korea amid regulatory uncertainty. No Bitcoin ETF plans in the future. Wow, I just saw that I switched to the news story. It's a full 2 minutes behind on the stream, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, I'm not going to read through these articles. I just want to point out what they say because I read through them. This is interesting. Basically, the political parties in South Korea, can't decide on what to do with Bitcoin. There's two problems. One is they can't figure out how they're going to make money on it, and they're fearful of capital investments that they essentially can't tax. I mean, that's the brunt of the news story. That's part of it. The other part of it is they're not certain which regulatory body should be in charge of it. They're not certain that it's considered essentially an investment contract or an investment asset in the legal sense. Sound familiar? They're having the same sort of issue here in the U.S. as well, obviously. So I thought it was interesting. It was just another interesting story showing that people are trying to figure out how to regulate crypto. Next up, we got Peter Brandt. By the way, Peter Brandt, I think it's Factor is the name of his company. Peter Brandt was originally a commodities trader, started his fund back in the 80s. But Peter Brandt is saying that Bitcoin's going to $200,000. What's interesting in here, he was saying that he expected this to happen around August or September of 2025. I actually think we could see higher numbers before August of 2025. Personally, again, not financial advice. I think we could see much higher numbers potentially, because if we get one or two more positive news stories, say positive regulatory actions of some sort, or some sort of legal challenge that wins, at that point, I believe with the inflows in the ETF, I believe we're essentially going to have a version of a bit of a supply squeeze, and I believe that price could go up. When I say supply squeeze, I mean, I'm just saying more money coming in than Bitcoin available based on our current supply. I think we could see huge numbers coming in, and at that point, I believe that the price could potentially go higher than the 200,000. That's just my thought.
And we'd have to go a long ways to get to 200,000. I get it. I'm just saying I fully believe, and maybe he just used that number because it's a good round, even number. I don't think he used any form of math or technical analysis to try to determine that. I think it's just a good, even number. He did say if he thought we closed below 50,500 at any point in time, essentially all bets are off. And of course, he's probably using his support thresholds for that, some sort of long-term support threshold for that. But Bitcoin's going to 200,000, he says. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think Bitcoin will hit 200,000 by September of 2025? That's over a year from now. It's a year and a half from now. He's not talking about September of this year. And see, here's my thinking. We might break 100,000. We might break 150,000 potentially by the end of this year. The rate is going up if it continues. And I understand we're going to get a pullback. I just told you that. But we don't know how deep that pullback is. And once we get that pullback, we don't know how quickly it could catapult up forward. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to communicate with you. Let me know what you think. Here's a very interesting story. I can't help but love this. Now, I personally am no real fan of El Salvador. I don't know a lot about it. I mean, the president is critical of the West. I don't have necessarily a big problem with that. It's fine that people have differing opinions and whatnot. He cozies up to China and Russia a little bit and Asian countries. Okay, that's whatever. That's his prerogative. I'm not worried about El Salvador causing, worldwide havoc. But you can't help but appreciate this guy. This man decides that his country is essentially going to start stockpiling Bitcoin, essentially in their financial reserves. And he ran on this premise. He talked about this when he ran for president. This is crazy stuff. And when we start seeing Bitcoin get near all-time highs, which is where we're at right now, I mean, we are knocking on the door of all-time highs. And I guess in some countries, on some exchanges, they actually hit all-time highs yesterday. But I think our all-time high in the U.S., I think we were at 69.8 or 68.9. You can let me know in the comments. I'm not really sure. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we're getting close to that. We're getting very close to that. And it's funny because when we hit all-time highs, everybody who's ever been in crypto is a genius, literally. And you're the expert among all of your unprofessional financial friends. Like all of a sudden people want to talk to you about crypto who's never talked to you about it before, ever. They find out you're in it. And, and every bull market, new people come in. I promise you, those of you that are in crypto now, we start hitting near all-time highs. Let's say we do it this year, 2024. I promise you, just 1 year from now, 2 years from now, if you had the ability to have a YouTube channel like I have, and you start talking to people like I have, then you find out that most of them ended up getting in the last bull market. It's amazing. Most of you watching me right now, most of you got in after 2020. I know that for a fact. I've talked to you directly, personally, through DMs, through Telegram, etc. Most of you got in after 2020. Some of you remember when I started this channel back in 2017, and I got in 2015, 16. I can't remember exactly when it was, about a year before I started the channel. That's when I officially made my first purchase in crypto. Some of you made your first purchases way back there, but the vast majority who are paying attention seem to come in during the last bull cycle. And I think the reason so many people pay attention, and it's strange having a crypto YouTube channel, because I think the reason they pay attention is because they're so hyper glued to price. And they're so hyper glued to what's going to pump next because they remember enjoying some of those sweet, fast gains as the price went up. I mean, what other asset with a $1.2 trillion market cap goes up 22%? Name one. Well, there's no way that's not exciting. But just know it can go the other way on you as well. It can drop as quick as it can go up sometimes. So just be aware of that. All right, let's get back on track. So El Salvador, this guy. He made this tweet here that he's basically said plans to sell none of his Bitcoin reserves. And let's just go to the actual tweet. I pulled it up. When Bitcoin's market price was low, they wrote literally thousands of articles about our supposed losses. Not only did they write about supposed losses, they made out like the president was crazy, he didn't know what he was talking about, he was kind of loony, etc. Same thing people will say about you. When they find out that when Bitcoin's low and you're buying, people find out like you're buying Bitcoin, they're like, isn't that down? And of course, that's when you're supposed to buy, when it's down. You're like, didn't that just drop off like 70% from its all-time high? Didn't that bubble burst? Why are you buying? Because if you're like me, you understand that's when you're supposed to buy, right? And people think you're crazy. But of course, when you hit all-time highs, now you're a genius. But look what he says. Now that the Bitcoin market price is way up, if we were to sell, we would make a profit of 40% just from the market purchases. And our main source of BTC is now our citizenship program, which is interesting. I'll tell you what that is in a moment. We won't sell, of course. At the end, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. I'm going to come back to that. We won't sell, of course. At the end, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. This was true when the market price was low, and it's true now. And it's very telling that the authors of those hit pieces, the analysts, the quote-unquote experts, the quote-unquote journalists, are totally silent now. Remember this next time they spill lies against, again, about El Salvador. You know what's interesting? When you want to see how sort of, I guess, fake or phony the news media is, all you got to do is pay attention yourself to crypto. And you'll start seeing news stories, and this is where I first started noticing it. I see news stories now that I know are patently false. Like they're just simply not accurate. They're just wrong. In the last bear market, there's a lot of news stories when they were talking about crypto regulation. A lot of news stories were coming out, and they would always say that, you know, lawmakers want to regulate Bitcoin because it's used for, you know, fraudulent transaction, and it's the most fraudulent currency out there, cryptocurrency, et cetera. And people are using it for money laundering, et cetera. The crazy thing is, what they never said is the dollar is used like way more than 10 times the Bitcoin in money laundering. The dollar is used way more. And they would always say things like Bitcoin's anonymous. Bitcoin is not anonymous. You can track every transaction. You can trace every single transaction. It is not anonymous. It's pseudo-anonymous, but I promise you government entities have the ability to figure out, for the most part, who owns what wallets. And if they don't know who owns what wallets, they know exactly where every Bitcoin and every fraction of a Bitcoin has ever went to and where it's going. I mean, it's transparent as can be. So it's always really fascinating when you hear things like, oh, Bitcoin's anonymous, you know, as if somehow it's Monero, which it's not. And the same journalists writing about this don't even know what Monero is. So it's fascinating what you learn and how you see some bias in news media. And sometimes the writing is so bad, I'm convinced the writer was given an outline by another source and they just wrote to fill in the outline. I am absolutely convinced some of these writers for some of these, at least the digital writers, I am absolutely convinced most of them have no idea many times what they're talking about. Now, I will admit, since Bitcoin is becoming a bit more prominent, the writing overall and the coverage is getting a little bit better, but it's still interesting at how bad it is. And this guy here, I mean, kudos to him. I want to come back to this. When you see someone say, I don't care what the price is, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, that is somebody who is hardcore. Like that is something they used to say even before I got in. Like people would talk about the price going from, you know, $1,500 down to $300. That, way back then when $1,500 was the market top. And I would read online, was it Bitcoin forum? Anyway, I can't think of what the forum was. There's a popular message board back then I used to read on. Before I even got in, I was just following it. And back then people would say, I don't care what the price is. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. And you know, if you think the future is the future financial ecosystem is either going to be in Bitcoin or rely on Bitcoin as some sort of backing, then it kind of makes sense, you know? And when a man is willing to put his country's reserves into Bitcoin, I mean, that tells you this dude believes in it more than most people who are investing in it. No question. All right, the 2 more stories we're going to go through quickly, and then we're going to get to some passive income projects overall. And I'm going to show you the projects that I'm currently in, give you a little bit of an update. I don't have numbers for all the projects. I'm going to actually put out a recorded video on kind of my portfolio update of my passive income projects, dollars amount, you know, specific dollars. But today I'm going to kind of talk to you. I'm going to do an overview about what I like about each project and what I've learned by being inside of each project as well. The next 2, like I said, are going to be pretty quick. And this comes down to just be careful in crypto. Just be careful in crypto. This one is some sort of Kyrgyzstan, I believe. Kyrgyzstan, I think that's how you say that. A crypto exchange overseas in Kyrgyzstan. Now, you may look at this and be like, okay, that's in Kyrgyzstan. I'm never going to be using an exchange in Kyrgyzstan. And some of you aren't. But please be aware, some of the crypto exchanges you're using, you may not know where they're actually located. But where they're located is less important. We've had prominent crypto exchanges get hacked. I mean, that has absolutely happened. So this exchange had a breach in their security system, and they ended up, suffering $100 million loss. If you have money on that exchange, you're going to lose. Just be very clear. There's no way to get that money back. So there's a saying, not your keys, not your crypto. If you don't own the private key to the account, someone else owns that private key. Whoever owns that private key is responsible for the security of that account. So just keep that in mind. You have $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 on some account somewhere. You have more, 50,000, 100,000. I know people that have 100,000, 150,000, $200,000 sitting on Binance. If they're actively trading that full amount, then maybe that's fine. I mean, hopefully that's a small percentage. Hopefully they have millions and millions in crypto. But ladies and gentlemen, you've got money just sitting on an exchange. Just be aware it's at risk. And with that being said, that's exchange risk. But there's also something called smart contract risk. And that's what happened with this token here. Shido token dives 90% after Ethereum staking contract was exploited. Basically, a malicious actor found a hole in the contract. And this can happen with any contract. Contracts get audited. All an audit is basically we're going to do our best to protect ourselves. An audit is the equivalent of, trying to eat healthy, trying to lose weight, trying to exercise to keep yourself healthy, but it's not a guarantee. There's always a risk that something can happen to your health. A smart contract audit, same thing, especially when there's new projects with new functionality, there's always smart contract risk. So before you go into any project, be careful. Don't ever bet the farm too much on any smart contract, but always know there's a smart contract risk. And then also there's this one more thing I'm going to tell you to be careful about. When you go into a project and they've been audited, don't just trust the audit. Go read the audit. And you don't have to read the full audit. Typically at the top or the bottom, there'll be a summary and they'll show you the problems, whether it was fixed, whether it was remedied. And sometimes the audit will say it's been noted, which means they didn't change it. They didn't fix it. I cannot think of what project I recently saw, but I looked at their smart contract and they were bragging that they had this is a real project. And if I could think of the name, I probably wouldn't even say it publicly, but they were bragging that, hey, we just got our audit. Well, there was 3 or 4 things in that audit that did not look good. And all it said was noted. And I thought, noted and what? Is anybody planning to do anything about it? Anybody do anything about this? I just thought it was interesting. So be very careful anytime that you're investing in a smart contract. I like smart contracts. In my opinion, in many cases, I think smart contracts can be safer than centralized exchanges. But if it's a new smart contract, you're at much greater risk. And I'm not going to tell you that you should always be aware that there could be some sort of security flaw always in any smart contract. The older it is, the more money that's in it, the more it's been used, probably the more secure it is, but that's never a guarantee. So just keep that in mind. I want you to be safe out there. I want you to protect yourself. And I know a lot of, people in crypto want to be like, oh, no, it's fine. This new project is fine. It's got a good devs. Listen, humans make mistakes, humans make errors, and faster computing power and increase in technology over time even can make even the oldest smart contracts potentially vulnerable in some cases. You just got to be aware of that. All right, let's get into some crypto projects. What do you say? By the way, smash that like button if you're listening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. If you like the live streams, let me know that in the comments as well. I may continue these live streams. If you want me to do that, just let me know. Take a quick coffee break while I'm here. By the way, I'm drinking a little bit of coffee and a little bit of Diet Mountain Dew. It's kind of strange. I don't drink it at the same time, but they're both sitting here next to me. And I sip on one, then a little while later, I'll sip on something else. I'm always drinking something at this desk. All right. By the way, how do you like these photos over here? These are all AI generated, by the way. All of them. That's AI. I don't know about this one. That might be AI, but human faces are difficult with AI. All right. Let's get into it. First project, I don't have these in any real particular order. I kind of went with where my current excitement is with the project, kind of, but not exactly. but I put it loosely in. I like all these projects, but let's just say I loosely went from my most favorite to or least favorite to most favorite. Definitely got some of my bigger earners towards the end as well. So let's go here. This is Beanstalk. I've not talked about Beanstalk in a while for good reason, by the way. The project was exploited, I guess we're on 2 years ago, and they've tried to work on bringing it back. And they're really having a hard time, is the truth. They're having a really hard time on it. I have fair amount of funds in this project that are just sitting here that I'm getting back very, very slowly. And some of them I may never get back if they can't figure out their issues. The idea is it's a credit-based stablecoin project. And you can see that it's been around the $1 peg. What's interesting about this project is it's credit based. So the stable coin is the bean token, and they have this whole bean theme and farming theme, etc. They're actively developing on this project. We'll see. I put about, I don't know, a little under, but close to about $40,000 into this thing, and truthfully, I've gotten out about 3,000, 3,500. I mean, it's coming out. It's just coming out slow. And part of the problem is because they were exploited, they're working to make everybody whole, if that makes any sense. But essentially what happens is when we're over pegged, they print the bean tokens. And when they print bean tokens, then you get paid back in bean, which is roughly $1. And it's just slow going. They are developing it. They're very, very, very decentralized, which is part of how they got exploited. So they've worked on fixing that, and it's interesting. And they know that stable coins are at risk of probably hyper regulation. I think stable coins will ultimately get regulated more than cryptocurrency in general. I mean, I think that regulation is going to be very strict and very swift. And I think that we need a decentralized stable coin because I think most investors want to be able to easily go for, most investors don't believe one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. They believe one Bitcoin equals some amount of US dollars, and they want to be able to trade back to those US dollars from time to time. If we have regulations that are, if we're left with no stable coins, which is a possibility, then I think that's going to be a problem for crypto overall for now, at least on the way to mass adoption. So I think a decentralized stablecoin, understand when we say decentralized, nobody controls it, and it's also not collateralized. So we have DAI now, but people don't understand that DAI is significantly collateralized by USDC and possibly USDT, I'm not sure. And so, because DAI got exploited once, and then they decided to collateralize it with, it used to be collateralized with just ETH, but now it's collateralized with ETH and a significant amount of centrally controlled stablecoins, which in my opinion, sort of kind of hurts what DAI is supposed to be. And so I'm hoping that we can get some of these stablecoins, and you'll see that another project that I'm in as well. I like it a lot. The thing about this project, when it's working the way it was prior to exploit, it can pay really, really well. I mean, at one point in time, I mean, this thing was paying, I want to say over 100% APR. Now it's like 4, 5, 6%, but it's paying out over 100% APR, and it was doing incredible. Let's see, come over here to the silo. This is where basically people are earning funds. Let's see what these APRs are. Ignore these. Okay, so we hit double-digit APRs, and part of the development that they've been doing is they included this Eth LP, well, essentially, and that you can put into the silo. Again, I'm not going to, I've done videos in the past on this, but since it's not doing amazing, I don't think most people will love it. But this is some of the development they've been doing. And when ETH price goes up, it does cause it to break $1. And the good thing about that is it starts printing. And when it starts printing, when you have funds in the silo, you have funds deposited in the bean token in the silo, then you end up earning some bean tokens based on what you have deposited when it's over $1. It mints every epoch that we're over $1. However, the problem is with the whole project is they have over $900 million in debt. That's part of the problem. They've only paid back $59 million. And what this basically means is it's credit based. See how there's soil here? Anytime there's soil, it means that you can, it's when we're below peg, you can take your beans, you can buy pods you're loaning funds to the protocol, and they're saying we'll pay you back. This originally started out at a super low interest rate. And the way it works is you're at the end of this 900 million line. You're at the very end of the line. But if we were to ever get there, at some point in the future, years down the road, you would make, for every $1, you'd make 20,000% if we ever get there. And the only way we're going to get there is through some significant development. And we've got to have some further development, some further uses of the token. Other protocols have got to be able to implement and build on it, but that's hard when you're seeing how they're building back. I'd actually reached out to someone on my own. I think this would be a very interesting project to build on, and I think there's some use case, but you almost got to just want to because you believe in the project, and that's hard. When in crypto, a lot of people just get in for the gains, right? So it's hard. You got to just really fundamentally believe in what they're doing. But there's a lot I liked about it. For sure. Next up, this project is paying in real yield. By the way people are making money here for the most part is coming into here, and they're making a small APY in Bean, which you can withdraw. It's on ETH though, and ETH is very expensive. That's hurting it as well. Every protocol on ETH is getting hurt, and it amazes me that they will not go to Arbitrum or Optimism or something like that. It just amazes me. But the next project that is paying out significantly more, and no one's talking about this project. And if you like to yield farm, I think you would love, or most people would love, a project like this. And this is Ppods.finance. This project, man, holy crap. This is such a neat project. It is so freaking neat. I'm going to do a dedicated video on this project, but here's the gist of it. The gist of it is they have what they call the P tokens. And it's funny, I found out about this project in the Bean Telegram because somebody mentioned this project. And then these guys, I ignored it in their Telegram because they were like, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. Ignore it. And so I did for a while. And this is the problem with groupthink. As much as I respect a lot of the guys that hang out in their Discord, I said Telegram is their Discord. As much as I like the guys who hang out in their Discord, like I really like them. Like most of them, like they believe in, they have the ability to believe in a project, to develop on a project, to follow a project, even when it's not doing well. Man, I can't help but appreciate people like that. But they were like, oh, avoid this Ppods Finance. When I finally took a look at Ppods, I thought, what in the world? I mean, this is so interesting. It is nothing related to Bean at all. People were like, oh, it's a fork of Bean. It is not. I've heard people say this is a fork of Uniswap. It is not even close in how it works to Uniswap. So essentially, what you do over here is you basically can earn real yield on your assets. Let me just show you. If you have Bitcoin, right here, wrapped Bitcoin, you can make 44 plus 12% on your wrapped Bitcoin. This is 56% on Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum. Where else are you going to earn that? So here's how it works. Basically, you get paid out in the P token. The P token is fully diluted. Every single one has been printed. No more can be printed, and it's deflationary. So you come over here and you basically, you take your assets, just to make it very simple. You take and again, if you want to know more about this, leave me a comment. I'll do a tutorial. I'll talk about this, a full tutorial. But essentially, you create an LP position like you would on any liquidity pool, and you stake it over here. And when you stake it, you earn yield. You earn yield in two ways. When you stake it, you have to wrap it essentially. When you wrap it, there's a wrap fee. That fee is used to buy and burn the Bean tokens. The P tokens. I said it wrong. It's used to buy and burn the P tokens. I'm sorry. It's used to buy and burn the actual. Sorry, I'm confusing you here. They call this PWBTC. So think of it as the token is WBTC. The P token is wrapped WBTC. So you have the wrapped WBTC inside of a pod. The pod is liquidity. In this case, I use Ohm. Those of you that like Ohm. In other pods, they use DAI. Most of the pods, they use DAI. So you pair it with Ohm or you pair it with DAI. And what happens is when you pair it, there's volatility that takes place. There's a disparity in price. So right now, the pod price, the fair value price is 63,000. On the DEX, it's 60,000. So the MEV bots that exist that are always out there looking to make a profit, as soon as it's cheaper than the wrap fee, which the wrap fee can be 2 or 3% or 1.5%, something like that. Whenever it's cheaper or more expensive, whenever there's a profit, the bots will basically keep this price aligned. It oscillates back and forth. But even if they buy or sell, they have to wrap or unwrap. Anytime you wrap and unwrap the pods, it creates a fee. The majority of that fee, my understanding is, the majority of that fee buys the actual wrap BTC off the market and burns it. So that means there's always going to be less PWBTC than WBTC. That's where this CBR comes in right here. When you pull out of this pod, if you went in when it was 1.000 where it starts, when you pull out, you're going to end up getting 1.01 for every pod that you have. So you're basically making 12% a year just on the wrap and unwrap features. Then there's the LP. This is crazy as well. The LP earned that you put in here, they take, I think it's like 60% of the fee. It's a sizable percentage. In fact, like I said, I can do a full tutorial on this. They take a huge percentage of this fee and they use it to buy P tokens on the marketplace, on the DEX, and they distribute them to all the holders. So this thing pays out in P tokens. If you come in here with a fair amount, you could be making P tokens every single day. And at any point in time, you can unstake them and you can sell them. The problem with most DEXs that exist is they have no way to go out and market buy the token. Here they're market buying it, and then they're redistributing it as well. When the market buy is what causes it keeps a positive price pressure. Even if everybody sells, see, when you see like something like PancakeSwap or some fork of PancakeSwap or Uniswap, a lot of times they're giving you uni tokens, or whatever exchange token they have. And most people just sell that token. There's nothing else to do with it. They just sell it. Every time they get it, they make a little money, they sell it. They start with these high APRs, 1,000%, 10,000%, and then it just dropped to nothing, oblivious. Why? Because you're earning the APR in a token that has a tremendous amount of sell pressure and it just goes down. Here, the APR, it's a fully diluted market cap. There's no more P tokens getting printed. The fees are used to market buy and distribute. Bam. That's incredible. That is crazy. And anybody, by the way, can create a pod on any asset. So we see a lot of these kind of assets, meme type based assets, etc. This one is very interesting, this Noman. Let me go look at that one. I find out about projects just because I'm over here. I'm like, what is this? What is this? I've never heard of it before. Let's see. Here it is. This is a new one. Just like normal LPs is going down in value. This is going down, obviously. And this is some sort of reflective token, but it also has something to do with like kind of the new ERC20 tokens ERC404 tokens out there, I believe. I was reading in their Telegram. It looks interesting enough. The price is going down, but that's because it's a reflection token of some sort. So it's getting diluted. But very interesting stuff. I was also reading about, where's it at? Not based. This one right here. I forget the name of this one, but I was looking at that one. It's very interesting what you find. You can also just go into the P token here, which is a little bit low. The floor of the P token seems to be around the upper $4, and then it kind of bounces up and down from there. But it may be trending upwards. That's what it should do if this whole thing works. And they're about to go to Arbitrum, which is going to be amazing because you won't see as big of price discrepancies when they go to Arbitrum, because the transaction fees on Ethereum hurt you when it comes to ARB. They call this, by the way, volatility farming. So you're getting paid a real fee from the profits that are earned. That's a real yield. Your yield is coming from profits that are earned in the protocol. Very interesting. Now, let's go to another stablecoin. Now, most people don't see this as a stablecoin. That's what I love most about this project. We're talking about liquid loans. So liquid loans is on the Pulse chain ecosystem. Liquid loans is fascinating. The whole idea behind liquid loans is you can come. Is it here? This isn't it. Where's it at? I want to look at it. Is it analytics? Nope. That's not it. That's not it. I'm trying to find. I'm not looking in the right spot because I don't use it to borrow against my Pulse, by the way, but a lot of people do. But if you, I mean, and the minimum amount I think is $2,000 you have to put in to take a loan out. And there's people with hundreds of thousands of dollars, like lots of people with hundreds of thousands of dollars in Pulse. And then what they do is they take out a loan against it. And their loan they use is USDL. This is the stablecoin that's created. Now, what I do is I just take my USDL and I park it in here. I stake it. It's getting a 98% APR right now. 98% APR. That's crazy. You get paid out in the loan token. And now you can stake the loan token, and they have a staking pool, and you make 54% on that one. And I'm not going to go into all the mechanics of how this actually works. I'm just going to tell you that the fee is coming here. The fee is coming from, in part, because they're printing loan tokens. But at some point, it's going to level off, because they slow down. They're on a continuous decline of how fast they're printing loan tokens, and it just keeps getting slower and slower. But at some point, when these two APRs even out, there's lots of people are going to take the loan tokens and come in over here. And a lot of people already are, because there's staying a discrepancy. The Pulse chain, the Pulse ecosystem, they love Pulse, man. It is like a religion for a lot of these guys. And so they're going to stake that loan because they would rather earn that Pulse. They could sell the loan and buy Pulse, but it's interesting. People don't do that. When you stake your loan token, you earn Pulse and USDL. And it comes from redemptions and liquidations, et cetera. That's where everything's coming from fees. The only thing that's not coming from fees is they are minting the loan token right now. But when there's redemptions, when someone does a redemption at any point in time, see how we're at 97 cents right now? Any point in time, you can come over here and you can redeem your one USDL for exactly $1 of Pulse. Whatever $1 Pulse is at the time of redemption. So if this dropped down, for example, no matter what this price is. So if I went to a DEX, say this was 80 cents, and I went to a DEX, and I was like, okay, I can sell 80 cents worth of USDL, I'll get 80 cents worth of PLS. If you come through the redemption model, and this was done on Ethereum already, you can look it up, it's called liquidity. Liquidity, is that right? I think it's liquidity on Ethereum. And this is a fork of that model. And you can go look at that model. The problem with Ethereum is the gas fees. And here, gas fees are less than a cent. Now, they do take kind of a long time. They're not the fastest transactions. Not a real long time. I mean, maybe half the time of an Ethereum transaction. But they are less than a cent. I mean, it's like fractions of a cent to do a transaction. But you let's just say this is 80 cents. I can come through the redemption on the website. I can put in $1. I can put in that one USDL that's valued at 80 cents. And when I redeem it, I don't get $1. I don't get 80 cents of PLS. I get $1 worth of PLS. Hope I didn't just confuse you. No matter what the exchange price is, anytime you redeem it, you get a full $1 of PLS. Those redemptions, by the way, can cause liquidations of people that have loaned out money if they borrow too much. And it's the liquidations that go to the staking pool, I believe. I'm sorry. The liquidations come here. The staking pool gets the redemption fees. Okay, so whenever you go to redeem, there's like a 2% fee. Those fees go here. All right. And whenever someone wants to take out a loan, they pay a fee. That fee goes here based on how many loan tokens you have staked. It's a very interesting model. It's kind of been proven on Ethereum, so it works. And again, 98% APR in real yield. Now, I do think it's going to trend down, but you can see the loan token's up right now. A lot of people are suspecting there's something going on with this loan token. PLS is up right now. So again, it's a mostly real yield asset. Let me just say that. Mostly a real yield asset. Because the loan token is going to have a value, and it's not going to be minted forever and ever and ever. And where else can you get 98%? I mean, you can sell. I sell almost every day. And I only have like, $1,200 or so, and I'm going to be adding more this month. Because I'm stacking. Those of you who heard me in my live stream yesterday talk about stacking tokens, like stacking US dollar values in a bull market, this is Not all of it, because this is a newer protocol, so something could happen here. It could somehow lose peg. Something could happen, so it could get exploited. Again, it's a newer protocol, but I'm going to stack some stable coins here for sure. Why? Because I want to earn that right there, 100%. There's another project coming out, Power City, but we'll wait for that to come out. Now we're going to go to some projects that are old school, man. I've not talked about these projects in a while. What am I talking about? I'm talking about BetFury and Starbs. Love these projects. Love these projects. BetFury, only have about $400 in here. At one point in time, I made a boatload on this thing, man. Early on, I want to say about $15,000 when this thing first came out, launched, mined, and eventually sold. It's been awesome. But I moved some funds around, but I'm going to build it back up. This thing here, I'm uncertain about what's going to go on long term, but you can buy the BetFury tokens now. You don't have to mine them. Used to, you had to play in the casino to mine the tokens. That's how they first minted them for like the first year and a half, I think. And now you can buy them on a couple of exchanges, Binance based exchanges, buy swap, stuff like that. But you come over here, you go to refer and earn. Nope. Earn. BFG staking. 34% is what it says. Let it reload, I guess. 34% APY. That is coming, that you're getting paid out. Even though you're staking the BFG token, you are getting paid out in prime assets. You're getting paid out in Bitcoin. You're getting paid out in BNB, Tron, Ethereum, USDT, and all these other tokens. This is what you're getting paid out in. So, and they'll just stack over here. Or when you go to claim, like I got 36 cents, you get 3% of this gets paid out a day based on how many you have staked. So you go to claim, you can also claim it in BFG tokens if you wanted. In fact, I'll do that because I want to just grow that position. And again, it pays out in Bitcoin, pays out in Ethereum, pays out in Tron. That's super awesome. I'm going to add some more here probably this month as well. I'm actually going to start doing a monthly update on my channel, and I'm just going to basically have a simple spreadsheet on where we started and where we're at and the growth from one month to the next, or loss, whatever happens. Starbets is another one. I like Starbets. Their pool's not as big, but I like Starbets. They pay out very, very consistently. I got in on this one early, and I got in much heavier than I did on BetFury. One of the regrets I have on BetFury is I kind of wish I wouldn't have sold the token. I mean, I would have had, at today's prices, maybe $10,000, $12,000, making 36 and sometimes as much as 45% a year. That's incredible. I mean, that's incredible. Get paying out in Bitcoin and Ethereum and BNB. That's incredible. People don't even talk about these online gaming platforms anymore. But here you can collect my daily earnings ends up being about $17 a day over here. And the price to mine, you can only mine this token, so you have to play it. But the price to mine it has gone up significantly. The ROI is not nearly as high, but when they first launched, it was like over 100% a year we were earning. It was crazy. In fact, I think initially it was about 200% a year, but it quickly dropped. I haven't done the ROI in a while, but since Bitcoin, the great thing is when Bitcoin prices go up, these US dollar values go up. Because again, they're paying out, I think 3% of this a day, and I have a lot of these tokens, 3 million of them. If that ever, it's supposed to go for sale on an exchange. If it ever does, I mean, if these are even a penny, it's gonna be incredible. I mine these tokens. When I mine these tokens, I want to say I put in about $6,000 to mine these tokens today. I did some math a month ago or so, and it was a crazy number. I want to say it was like $64,000 maybe it was 46,000 something. It was tens of thousands. I was shocked. Now the ROI and some of the numbers changed with the price of Bitcoin going up. I'm going to redo the math on it because I'm tempted to come in and mine some more. Mining, there's a specific way to mine. Basically you have to maximize your play. And there's a specific way to do it, so you don't just gamble. You can run it on auto. And I've covered it. I have a whole email strategy guide on how to do that. I'm not going to talk about it here because it's not the best ROI for most people, but I think I want to add to my position at some point here, just because it pays out so well, so consistently. And that's phenomenal. Now, $300. What did I make $300 at? Well, you can see I made $17 here yesterday. Let's see what I made yesterday. This is yesterday's payout. Yep, 1704. That's what I made yesterday. So we'll just get that. And I could pull in anything, right? But right now I'm taking it in USD. And that pays out hella consistent. Like, it's crazy how consistent that is. So every 30 days, I basically end up pulling out over $500. If I, whatever that is, 30 times, I think it's over $500 that I end up pulling out every single, 510 maybe, and that I end up pulling out every single month when we're at these prices, these levels. But if we go down, then maybe it's $15. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't go crazy low or nothing, because it's not all. A significant portion of this is in USDT value. 30,000 is in USDT value. So that helps give some stability to the dividends as well. It's just crazy, like, that you can actually get paid based on real yield. This is coming from player losses. So that's crazy when you think about it. All right, next up, $300. That's what I earned with this next project yesterday. Let's see if it's still there. You can see it. Yep, it is. $315 right now is what I earned as of yesterday. And this is copy trading. There's a link in the description. I love copy trading. I took some losses early on when I started this, just from some bad traders, but I feel like I've got it about dialed in. These are the 3 traders in the description. In the description of the live stream, you can check this out. I actually have trader 1, trader 2, trader 3. But just to give you some ideas, and I on my channel, I have an entire journal, like an email journal that I update every month. I didn't send out anything last month because there's been some changes with my email service provider that I need to go in and manually update something to be able to send an email. But with that being said, I normally update that journal every month, and you can expect to get something probably later this month as well on my overall journey. I had said my goal was to get $1,000 a month, and I mean a day. Sorry, a month, not a day, a month. But here's $300 in a single day. That's kind of crazy. And here's the thing. I pulled $300 off of this guy yesterday. I got $300 sitting in my account that I'm making some derivatives trades with. I'll show you that real quick here. We'll go look at these traders in a moment. But look at this. So I have an Ethereum trade because I figured Ethereum was going to start pumping. So I came in here and put an Ethereum trade on with 10x leverage, which is a lot of leverage. But I was just confident that it was going to pump. It was a small amount. I came in originally with like 200, then I added another 100 or something. Yeah, I have $330 in this trade. But my unrealized profit right now is $559. And here's a $400. 300 I pulled off of that trader yesterday, and he's already up, $80 today. That was his earnings for most of the month, that one trader. And now he's already up $80 from yesterday. But anyway, that's crazy. But anyway, so this is what's sitting in my account still to get invested. I'm going to invest when I see another. I'm waiting for a daily red candle, and I'm going to add to this right now. So the total amount is whatever, 731 plus, that's the account balance. 330 plus 559 is what's in the actual value of the position itself. And then the 400, of course, takes it up to $1,289. So that's bananas. Look, I'm sitting here holding on this at $2,800. I plan to hold on this right up until, at least until we get to the ETF. And we don't know that the ETF was going to be coming out. It's projected to be coming out, I think, in May. But I was reading yesterday, that's probably going to get delayed. So we may enjoy a pump for a long time. It could be incredible. But the main thing I'm going to do when I withdraw those profits is just bring it back over here to copy trading. I mean, it's great. And you can come over here and you can, again, there's traders out here, but most of them are high risk. Most of them are going to blow up accounts. That's how I lost money. So you can't, I like conservative traders, and you got to be careful who you go after. I'm not going to break down individual trade strategies, but I'll show you my traders that I'm using. Let's see. No, that's not it. Here we go. So let's take a look. So if you go in the description, you can see this yourself just by clicking on Trader 1, Target Lock. Take a look at this guy. This is his last 30 days. He's made 9%. But the most important thing for me is the risk assessment. Look how low his risk is. But let's check out. Most of the traders you see on YouTube right now couldn't pull these numbers. There's traders all over YouTube. They would never show you their numbers this transparent. Never. Most of them are not doing these numbers. Period. Come here. Look at his risk assessment over 180. I wish they would show you more than 180 days. Now, he's only been trading for 165 days. But here's what he's done. 64%. This guy, 64%. And he's pretty conservative. He's one of my newer traders. That's why I have the least amount of funds on him. But he's pretty conservative. I'll probably take some profits and get him up to about $1,000 and just let it hold for a while and see where he goes. His chart is pretty much up. Looks pretty good. Probably doing some algorithmic trading, but it's worked. I mean, the past 6 months, we've had some volatile markets up and down. And he was on the wrong side of the market yesterday. You can see this resets every day. So he was on the wrong side of the market yesterday. And he's my newest trader. He was not bullish on whatever he was using. This is probably my biggest earning trader overall. I know you see some bigger numbers here, but this guy is my biggest overall. Take a look at this. This is trader number 2. When you click down below on the link in the description, you'll come to this page here. 30 days, 24%. That is absurd. 90 days, 130%. So listen, you can be like, okay, 13% in the past 30 days. That's an outlier, because if you multiply that by 4 to get 4 weeks or 30 days, you'd be at over 50%. But in his 30-day total is 24%. So obviously you can see that the past 7 days he's done really well. But his 30-day total is 24%. So watch this for a moment. Is this an outlier? Well, if you go to 90, it should be 75%, right? It's 133%. Wait until you see his risk assessment. Come to 180, 6 months. 6 months, 471%. That is bonkers. That's just crazy. Doesn't mean he's going to blow up at some point. Maybe, possibly. But here's his last 180 days. He has taken on a bit more risk, going all the way up to a 3. A 3 is 3 times more likely to blow up your account than a 1. By the way, that's just a simple way to think about it. This is his weekly profits. He's made profits every week he's traded. And of course, some weeks have been enormous. He's only traded for 134 days. But he's killing it. The thing about this guy, he has $42,000 in here. He's not withdrawn. You can always come to account assets and see what they have. So he's kind of been growing his assets. Let's see what he's done over 180 days. So it looks like he made a big deposit. What he's not doing is constantly withdrawing. A lot of people constantly withdraw. Like I'll show you. This guy here. This is my longer term trader. I have the most faith in him. I had him at 6,000, and what I do is I hold him at 6,000 and I withdraw the profits and I start adding other traders. Like I got 3 or 4 more traders I'm going to add, but just to diversify the risk, I'm going to keep this guy, for example, at 35. About every month I scrape him. I scraped him yesterday thinking the month was, he was done. But now he's at 35.88 right now. So by the next month, wherever he's at, I'll scrape him back down to 35. This guy, he took a big loss, but I was still in profit with him. He took a $600 loss last month. He was on the wrong side of Ethereum volatility. And when it happened, he took a significant loss. The good news is he cut his losses, which was awesome. And I was willing to profit with him. I went from $700 something in profit to drop down to about 300. But look, the dude's already made almost all of it back, and I've let him make it all back. I have not added to him. I thought, let's just see if he can make it back on his own. And yesterday was incredible for this guy. But take a look at this. Look at the best thing about him. Oh, that's his current position. Let's go here. Again, if you click on the link below, he's trader number 3. Those are affiliate links, by the way. I get something if you use this. I don't know exactly what but you'll be supporting the channel. So he's a bit more conservative. In 30 days, 90%. This is his account assets. He scrapes his account like constantly. He never lets it go above 3,000. Kind of makes me a little weary when I see that, because it's like, okay, so do you not have faith in your trading style? I mean, he's been trading for 552 days. So I don't know. I don't know why, but he always scrapes it, keeps it at 3,000. I'm always aware of do they let their money ride or not? Which, by the way, that doesn't mean anything. I've seen $50,000 accounts blow up. So the size of the account alone doesn't mean anything. What matters is the risk assessment and what's going on here. But I want to make certain they're trading with. I want to make certain they're trading with you know. I like when I see they're trading with reasonable amounts of money, not like $200. So in 90 days, 38%. 180 days, 75%. And you can kind of see that right here. So he's had a couple outliers, big weeks. But overall, I mean, who cares? I'll take 5% if it's consistent and it's safe. I mean, a month. And he's sitting at 9%. Look at this, though. Look at his max drawdown. It's non-existent for a month. It's non-existent. It's crazy. And this is his little, I mean, he's at a 1. A couple times he's at a 2. But he's mostly a 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's crazy. Now, this is copy trading, and I like it. I like it a lot. What I don't like about it is someone can change their strategy on a whim. And so what's been performing well, they can somehow try to change their strategy because they want to make bigger and better profits. And then they could end up making a mistake and blowing up their account. That's what I don't like about it. That's why you got to be careful. That's why there's only like $10,000 in here. Now, I'll eventually get it up to about 20,000 or so. And I'll tell you why. My goal is to be able to earn about $1,000 a month in passive income from as many projects as possible. So I want $1,000 a month here, and I'm close to getting that. And the next project I'm on, I'm about halfway there as well. But 20,000 would probably get me to about 1,000 a month. And I would be withdrawing that, and I would be stacking that in other projects. Maybe something like liquid loans, for example. Use it to build up my star bets. And the goal is getting to $1,000 a month as many places as possible. You saw star bets, I'm close to about 500. So I'm willing to put in extra funds there at some point to push that a little bit higher if I can. The next project is not passive per se, but I feel like I have more control over it. That's why I like it. And this is Lira. So Lira is basically selling options, decentralized options. And my account value, my collateral here is 10,000. This is the current value of the account. If you don't understand options, when you sell options, basically you make money selling options, and then they have to basically expire. So these are all, several of these will expire tomorrow. They expire worthless, and I keep the profit that I earn. But anytime that I sell options, you know, of course you pay a fee to make the sale, a transaction fee that goes to the protocol itself. But at the same time, when I sell options, my collateral immediately goes up, which is the money I'm going to earn once the option expires, once it's done. And there's only so much collateral you can use. You can't use up too much of your collateral, and it can arguably be a little bit risky. I was at 10,400. This is the only protocol that I lost any money on this month. When day before yesterday, when the price started moving pretty hard on Bitcoin, I only had two positions that got into trouble, and I just cut the losses when I saw how crazy the price was going. I just cut the losses. But I could do a whole video teaching you how to sell options, but it's very fascinating. Basically, with $10,000, pretty conservatively, I'm going to earn $300 to $600 a month, pretty conservatively, and I can earn potentially more than that. But when you try to get more aggressive in your earnings, you take on more risk. But what I hope by the time I get about 20,000 in here, then I'm pretty conservatively earning $1,000 a month, or pretty close just here as well. So I'm close to getting $1,000 a month here. But before the end of the year, I hope to be earning $1,000 a month here. I would be earning $1,000 a month here, and I'm probably going to push either liquid loans or star bets. There's another protocol I didn't even mention. I forgot I didn't even pull it up. There's one called Thales, Thales. That's going to be interesting. That's a newer protocol. It's not even a full year yet, but it's doing between 30 to 40% APR right now, or APY, I should say. So that's going to be interesting as well. So you get several of these protocols earning passive income. So if you saw my live stream yesterday, I talked about be right even if you're wrong. One way you do that is when you're in a bear market, you take half of this and you keep it in US dollar values. You take the other half and you add it to your HODL bag. And then it's be right if you're wrong. Or if a new protocol comes out, half of it you keep in USD value, half of it you go into whatever that new protocol is. And when you're doing that, you're always being able to know that you're taking some US dollar profits no matter what. You have those profits for when the price of Bitcoin pulls back, because we all know at some point it does pull back. We just don't know how far. So you're able to hold on until you see a significant pullback. For me, the pullback will probably be about 50% or more. I'm waiting for a 50% off of current highs before whatever the current high is. So right now we're at 63,000. So for me, my USD that I'm stacking, for example, in USDL, just one place I'm stacking it, right? That USD, I'm going to be taking that, USDL, USD value, I guess. And I'm going to be taking that and I'm going to be stacking until we can become 50% off of this or 50% off of Ethereum, either one. And someone said, but what if we don't ever do that again? What if the ETF keeps, the volatility where we don't go back down 50%? Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we will go below 50% again. But if that's the case, so what? I'm holding a bunch of USD. I'm not out. It's not so bad. And I still have a HODL bag that's going up because of the appreciation of Bitcoin price. It's just about being sensible with your investing overall. So ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. I think we've been going for about an hour. Thank you so much for being here. Do me a favor, smash that like button. And if there's a project you want to know more about, you want, hey, how do you trade options again? Can you tell us more about how Beanstalk works? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Ppods Finance, whatever. I'll make dedicated videos about anything that you want. Just ask in the comments. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.